NASA knows a secret about you. The US government has a secret about you. The elite have a secret about you. There's a reason that black cells are literally in outer space. Your royal DNA cellular bloodline is filled with the God particle, but it lies dormant within you. Beloved, my name is Vicky Dillard. I received supernatural insight concerning your messenger DNA code from a supernatural messenger. If you're not supernatural, this isn't for you, but if it's for you, you don't want to miss my ancestral messenger DNA code activation part 2 on the most magical day of the year. Don't miss it. The link is below. Signs and wonders follow. Don't miss it. 12/12/21 is your day to ascend into your God particle.
Yes, welcome back to the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Richard Sudan. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please like and subscribe and support the platform. So, news just in today: 2 men to be exonerated for Malcolm X's assassination after 55 years. So we're learning today that 2 of the 3 men wrongly convicted for the assassination of Malcolm X in 1965 are to be pardoned, are to be exonerated, are to be cleared after decades and decades and decades of being falsely accused of the assassination and murder of one of the most important and significant African American leaders in history. Now, the new investigation came off the back of the now infamous docuseries Who Killed Malcolm X, which premiered on Netflix a year or 2 ago, and which was created by Abdul Rahman Muhammad, the filmmaker and presenter of that film, and he did some very thorough forensic work. And the result of the Netflix series was that the authorities opened up a new investigation, and lo and behold, it confirmed what many suspected for a long time, which is that Mohammed Abdul Aziz, formerly known as Norman Butler, who's now 83 years old, had nothing to do with Malcolm X's assassination, and Khalil Islam, formerly known as Thomas Johnson, also had nothing to do with the assassination of Malcolm X. Now, at the time, Talmadge Hayer, who was one of the 3 arrested for Malcolm's assassination, he did confess to the murder, but he also said clearly that Norman Butler, Mohammed Aziz and Khalil Islam had nothing to do with the murder. So this is welcome news, but this comes sort of 50 years after the initial convictions. Now, these men spent a couple of decades in prison each. Now, this had an irreparable impact on their lives and their families and their well-beings, and their lives and the lives of their families were basically destroyed. Now, what's interesting about this story, really, I've kind of been skimming a few mainstream headlines, and all of the headlines and stories seem to suggest that the incorrect punishment and arrest of the 2 men who had nothing to do with Malcolm X's murder, headlines seem to suggest this is kind of incompetence, failings on the part of the local authorities. And I think for a lot of people, they really view the failure to catch the correct people for killing Malcolm X less as incompetence and more part of a malign, nefarious cover-up. Now, the docuseries Who Killed Malcolm X, I think, is pretty conclusive. I don't want to give any spoilers in case you haven't seen it, but it's thorough, it's conclusive, it's forensic, and Abdul Rahman Muhammad comes with receipts for all of the points he makes. So really, this cover-up was to divert attention away from the people and actors that really were responsible. And for sure, what we're realizing now, and what the documentary leads you to, which was the fuel behind this new investigation, is that the state had a massive role to play in Malcolm X's assassination. 100%. There's ongoing debate about this, but you know, the wrong people were fitted up for Malcolm X's murder to divert attention away from the ones who actually did it. Now, fast forward to 2021. I always say Malcolm X was not really just ahead of his time. I think Malcolm X was one of the few leaders who was light years ahead, period. Malcolm X wasn't just ahead of his time, he was ahead of our time. Hence why Malcolm X was assassinated, because in many ways, for many people, he had a lot of the solutions. So justice, or some sort of justice finally, for Muhammad Aziz, formerly known as Norman Butler, and Khalil Islam. But of course, so much time has elapsed really between the time of Malcolm X's assassination and now. No one's ever really going to be found to be culpable for it. But for now, at least, the names of these two men can finally be cleared. Well done to Abdul Rahman Muhammad, the presenter and creator of the docu-series Who Killed Malcolm X, because without that stellar work, things wouldn't have even progressed to this point. But again, this is a timely reminder as we're watching, the trials of Kyle Rittenhouse, the trial of Ahmaud Arbery's murderers. We're reminded really that between the time of Malcolm X and now, the racist American social order has remained intact. And also we've seen in the decades since the assassination of Malcolm X, we've seen numerous black leaders and activists assassinated, killed, taken out, character assassinated, all sorts of activists, right up until the present day. There's a lot of people that have many questions, for example, over what happened to the important activist from Ferguson a few years ago. So this trend has continued from the time of Malcolm X to now, and it will continue to trend that way, if you like. But for now, at least 2 of the 3 men falsely accused of the killing of Malcolm X are going to have their names finally cleared. Hopefully they can get some kind of peace, some kind of conclusion to all of this. But yeah, let us know what you think about this topic in the comments. As ever, we appreciate you tuning in. This is the African Diaspora News channel. My name is Richard Sudan, and we will see you next time.
Colonization never ended in the white supremacist system. And as we see today, the colonization is in the mind. Now, those who have been enslaved and those who have been colonized, we're still dealing with the remnants of that through the colonization of the mind. Pick up my book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, and we will help deprogram you from the colonization that was put upon you by generations and generations of white supremacy. You can pick it up today on Amazon.com.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and download the African Diaspora News Channel app, now available on Google Play and the Apple App Store.